John, with Rob, what his kind of offensive style, have you seen anything quite like that? Would you compare him to anybody you've seen? And how do you kind of harness what he can do with what you need him to do out on the court?
Rob gives us, really helps our offense. His ability to create his own shot and create shots for others. I think it's a game changer for us. And I know Coach Cal always feels like with Rob in the game that that there's he's going to create either for himself or for one of his teammates.
Just looking at the last two games for you guys from a defensive perspective, how much was that improved performance? Guys getting what you've been coaching and teaching them all year versus you guys maybe changing things up or maybe delivering in a different message to get that kind of performance?
I think both. I think we've been hammering on the defense for months now. Right from the beginning, we felt our offense was ahead of our defense. So defense has been an emphasis for a couple months, and I think it's starting to show. And then we picked our pressure up some, our pickup point higher, and also getting DJ back. I think that we felt was set the tone, and how hard he plays, how well he guards the ball made a big difference.
I know you mentioned the pressure a second ago, and I think Bruce Pearl from Auburn mentioned that post game as well as a big difference. Is that the main thing that you've noticed from you and the other coach's perspective, or if you put your finger on a couple of things to lead to this improved performance?
Yes, it's I think the players, like I said, they're learning. We're working on it constantly. It's just I think the hard work is starting to show, and DJ's pressure on the ball makes a difference, and I think as hard as he plays makes the other guys want to play harder as well.
Do you get the sense these guys have got kind of a chip on their shoulder about defense? Ugo said something after the Auburn game that we can't let people talk about us like this about our defense. Have you noticed them being kind of annoyed with the outside talk over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think they're developing a pride in their defense, and they work hard at it. And yeah, I think they took it personal what was being said about him, and I think Ugo, because he's such a good defensive player, and I think his rim protection makes a big difference for us.
Playing off that a little bit with Ugo, is it a situation where it's just that proverbial the game slowed down for him, or what is it that has propelled him, especially these last couple of weeks, and made him such a huge factor in your defense?
I think that's who Ugo is, and I think I wasn't here last year, but my understanding is he's always been a great rim protector, and I think the more he plays, the game experience helps him, and as you said, slows the game down for him, and I think that's his superpower, is his timing and awareness on blocking shots.
John, how would you assess the big man situation overall for your team? Because obviously you're not doing subs, but Ugo's getting those late minutes. Aaron's not. Aaron's so talented, but Ugo's just fitting better right now. How would you kind of assess how that's going, and then eventually putting Trey in? We've seen a two big lineup that kind of works, kind of doesn't work. How would you kind of assess that?
I think Ugo's earning minutes because of his defense, and I think it's a little bit of a fluid situation. Aaron's come in and played very, very well. Played more physical. And I think it's a situation that whoever plays well is going to earn the minutes.
When we talked to Justin the other day, he said that this was kind of the first time in his career that he didn't feel like for a stretch he was playing his best basketball, and now he feels like he's coming into his own. But he said that Reed Shepherd was the guy that really helped him keep his head up and stay motivated and in the gym. How rare is that to have a guy coming off the bench and being a freshman but still have that kind of leadership and impact?
Yeah, it is unique. I think Reed's a special player, and any kind of a special person. That I think he cares about his teammates, and this team in general. I find myself saying, to my friends, to other people, just what a special team as players we have, and how nice and caring they are to each other. And I don't think that happens often. I think, it's not just Reed. I think Justin is a special person, the way him and Reed interact and the other players with each other. And, that's why I think, as coaches, we want them to be successful. Coach Cal constantly says, I love this team. And it's a very likable team, not just as players, but as people.
How have you seen Justin kind of come into his own as of late?
Well, just Justin, the good thing is just as a person, same thing, the way he interacts with his teammates. And he's supportive of them. It's just, Justin's doing what's necessary for our team. He's doing a lot of the dirty work. Defensively, I think he's really improved, and it's a big part of our team improving defensively is Justin's ability defensively and his rebounding and just doing the things that kind of don't show up on a stat sheet.
Talking about the likability of this team, how have you found Aaron's personality, both when he wasn't playing and obviously playing through some struggles, but it seems like he's a pretty, people seem to kind of gravitate toward him.
Unbelievable. He's the same person every day. And every day is a good day for him. He always has a smile on his face. It's incredible. It really is. I mean, I guess obviously you guys see it as well. Just every day he's just upbeat and happy.
Is that type of thing contagious, I would expect? With
Yes,
such a team like
yes. And like I said, I think he's learning to be more physical and to play harder. And I think you can see that in the games. And the more minutes he gets, I think the more you'll see that. And, like I said, he's working every day, and he's, in the process trying to, as Coach said, you're going to earn your minutes in practice. So Aaron and Z, they have to earn their minutes in practice.
Coach Cal said they're playing better on the road right now, and the guys said that they like going on the road and kind of having that tough environment. So what can you tell us about this matchup?
It's going to be a tough game, so hopefully we can play well. LSU is a very good team. They're a very good offensive team. They have great spacing. They move the ball. It's going to be another challenge for our defense. There's not an easy game in this conference. Every game is a tough game. So, I think from a players and coaches perspective, that's, makes it a lot of fun. And I think our players, like I said, enjoy the tough environments on the road.
Kind of along those lines, you guys are 5-2 in true road games this season with such a young team. How have you guys banded together on the road? What about this team, despite its youth, has kind of shown through for you in terms of going on the road and getting the job done?
I just think we have players that have played in big games coming up through high school and through their careers. So I think, I don't think they're fazed by the crowds. If anything, I think it energizes them. Before the game at Auburn, it's probably the loudest I've ever seen our team. And coming back in the locker room, you could see they just, enjoyed their crowd and their energy. And I think they fed off it,
Is there anyone in particular, given some of the young leaders on this team that stands out to you, or someone who's able to get guys together, communicate, through that crowd noise, through that atmosphere?
I think DJ's a natural leader. And I think that's what we miss the most when DJ's not out. It's one of those things that's hard to define, but when you see it, you know it. I mean, it's just who he is. And he not only has a confidence, but I think he gives other players confidence. And that's kind of what the special players do. It's like a little bit like, Pat Beverly. He not only has confidence, but he makes everyone around him more confident. And I think DJ has that effect on our team.
Is that something that you guys as a coaching staff can see and maybe harness, especially when he's in the games for, okay, we don't really have to worry about this because DJ's on the court, he can kind of, get guys right in the space of the game?
Yeah, I think it's something DJ does. And like I said, it's when DJ's on the ball, I think we can pressure the ball more. We can pick the ball up, further from the basket, and I think it just energizes us.
Much should it help you all with LSU winning against South Carolina in preparation for this, kind of opening the players' eyes that this isn't going to be just another trip to Baton Rouge?
I think the players realize that every game in this conference is going to be tough. They say it's just good team after good team after good team, and I think we're just focused on trying to continue and improve. We're trying to improve defensively. We're trying to get better offensively. We got to get better playing at home and continue to play well on the road. So I don't think we're in a position to view each opponent. It's like we're more concerned with us and just improving each week. And we feel like if we do that, we're going to in the long run we'll be good.
Looking ahead a little bit, you talked about how they play well on the road. That has to bode pretty well for March when you are on the road for a couple weeks.
Yes, Coach Cal talks about this team and how he loves this team, and he feels like it's built for March. because of that. They have the ability to go on the road. They have the ability to make shots. We've proven we have the ability to defend. And, that's what you need in March.
You mentioned what you missed with DJ being out. What did you miss with Adu being out? Because this guy has been a big game changer since he got back.
What we miss with Adu, I think, is a big game changer. He seems to be his best in big games. The bigger the game, the better he plays. And he just gives us a different level of athleticism, and that we miss when he's not there. Getting tough rebounds, scoring tough baskets by the rim. And that we do miss that. And again, he gives us just a physical presence.
Over the last couple games, especially kind of down the stretch, it seems like y'all have been more comfortable playing in the half court. Is that something that you all have talked about, is trying to be more aware when you're playing in the half court, especially when you're trying to ice games away at the end, or just what do you see from your perspective?
Yes, Coach Cal's, we've worked on it in practice, and he feels like as the season goes forward, that's going to be more and more important. At the end of the games, to be able to use the clock, make sure we're getting a good shot every time down the court. And he felt early in the season that that's something that we didn't do as well. And I think as the season goes on, the games become more important. So does that.
What are some of the things that you've seen them get better at in that regard?
It is just being able to execute our half-court offense, and be able to, use some clock and get our best shooters a good shot. And, it just kind of, demoralizes the other team if you can use clock and get your better shooters a good shot. You make it, then, kind of makes them, they can see time's dwindling away, makes them a little more anxious on offense, and, feels like it gives us an edge.
With Ugo, he said when you got here last summer that you were a great help to him offensively, and obviously he got hurt, so you didn't have a lot of time to work with him then. But where have you seen him grow from then to now, and what's his kind of realistic upside? Not even this season, but maybe a little later down the line.
I think the biggest improvement Ugo's made is just playing with physicality, and using leverage, using his body, and probably the biggest thing that helped him is just the physical strength he's gained in the offseason, working with the strength coach. And I think that's changed his ability to even score around the basket. He doesn't get a lot of opportunity, but I think the strength and having the confidence to go into the defender and is really helping him.
Yeah, how much does that strength lead to confidence? It seems like, especially with big guys, that kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I think it's probably been the biggest difference maker for him. And like I say, with Ugo, just the more he plays at this level, his improvement's going to be quicker than other players because, he hasn't played as many minutes. So I think you see with the Adus and the Ugos that the more they play, the better they'll play.
You mentioned with Adu and Ugo, it's kind of centered around physicality and bringing that to the team. And it's one thing to tell guys to go out there and be physical, but how do you guys, especially in season, as a coaching staff, elicit that from players? How do you actually get them to be more physical in games?
It's a lot of it is during practice, during their workouts, is just setting up situations. We want to be a team that hits first. We want to initiate the collisions, and I think part of it is talking about it. Big part of it is doing it in workouts and in practice.